listening to Range Minded from Independence Indoor Shooting. This is part 2 of our live podcast episode from the Independence Indoor Shooting Expo of Fall 2019, with interviews from customers, vendors, and more. Now, if you haven't listened to the first part of this two-part series, you might want to go back and listen to get some info on where we are and what we're doing, but we're going to jump right back into it now, and we'll be back next week with a more regular style episode. Until then, we hope you enjoy episode 79 of Range Minded, the Independence Indoor Shooting Vendor Expo 2019, Part 2. All right, we are back with Range Minded.
Why did you hesitate?
It's for dramatic effect.
Oh.
With Independence Indoor Shooting, we're sitting with Shay of the Independent Woman. Say hi.
Whoop. Hi.
How are you?
Real good.
You're volunteering today?
I am. Super pumped to be here.
Yeah. I talked to a lot of people about the Independent Woman today.
We did. We talk about, we offer a class on Mondays, and we offer a class on Thursdays, and so it's about camaraderie and like-minded women. So I've met a lot of great ladies here.
Awesome. Yeah, because you've been involved with Independent Woman for a while now, right?
Yeah, I was here the first year and came, and in fact, I put it on my calendar. I had a reminder every Thursday
Awesome.
to come in because I was so excited to be here and, be with Jessica and Sarah. They're super awesome.
So before you got involved with Independent Women, had you shot much before, or did you get involved at all?
I had. I grew up with long guns with my dad, and things, but I'd never had an opportunity to be proficient with a handgun on my own. It was always with friends or a significant other. So it really helped me build my confidence to be able to handle firearms. And so now I'm confident in handling any kind of weapon, out on the range or something. So recently I was able to go out on the range with some friends, and he had a Glock, and I don't typically shoot that, but he had a malfunction. I was able to, I can clear this. I know what I'm doing. So the Independent Women really helped me build that confidence know what to do out there. So
awesome. Yeah, it's interesting because Sarah had the similar experience. She was, really proficient, real confident with long guns and stuff. And she told us that, handguns scared her actually for a long while. And then she was able to get into it a little bit more and gain that confidence and all that. So it's interesting because they're all firearms, but it's the different, the different kinds of firearms that maybe you're not used to or whatever,
Right,
so.
yeah. And it's really great, too, because a lot of the ladies have a wide range of weapons that they shoot. Mm-hmm. So we're able to say, hey, you want to try my gun? Or let's try this one. And so, some ladies that maybe haven't purchased a firearm or something, they can get some experience on what they might like. And
yeah, that's got to be rewarding to be able to help new shooters, especially new women shooters to kind of get into the sport. Have you kind of introduced anybody into the sport of shooting with that?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Have you introduced a lot of different women or your friends to the sport of shooting?
Yes. Yeah, I talk about it all the time. So I'm on the social media and talking about sorry.
It's okay. A lot of distractions here.
The gunsmith just walked by and distracted you.
So, yes, I talk about it all the time, actually. I'm on the social media talking about it. And what's nice, too, is you're friending a lot of the people in your classes. And, so you get to tag them in different posts and whatnot. And so another one of the things that we were doing today was talking about some of the classes that you guys offer here. Yeah. And so we've had a lot of people interested in the ladies-only classes. So I've been, talking about ladies-only classes and things like that. A lot of times they feel like they're intimidated with co-ed classes. And so it's really great to have that option to have a ladies-only class. And then that sort of leads into, hey, the Independent Woman, and, let's talk about it. Come visit us, hang out with us.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. What do you think the benefits are for kind of a ladies-only class?
Well, like I said, it can be intimidating for women who may not have experience handling a firearm, or, and I think, too, if you're with a significant other, they handle firearms the way they handle it, and they kind of, you need to do it this way, and it's probably not the way she wants to handle it or feels comfortable.
I know with my wife, she takes it as I'm lecturing her or something, I'm trying to teach her something, and it's not, and I don't think I teach her any different than I would somebody else, but it's just how she receives it for me, because I'm with her all the time. Where I'm not as an authority figure or an example to her, because she's with me all the time, where she can get that from somebody else.
Right, yeah, and you don't have to feel like, if I don't do it exactly the way he tells me to do it, then I'm doing it wrong kind of thing. It allows you to, go at your own pace and feel out how holding a gun feels to you, or shooting a gun feels to you. And so I think that's really great, even though, you might have a male instructor, but they're not intimidating to a point where you're like, oh shit, what am I doing? I don't know what to do
like
here.
Bill or Leroy, and those guys are not intimidating.
They're not. In fact, we had a gentleman say that this morning, like, oh, you have these big dudes teaching classes like Leroy, and I'm like, he's the softest teddy bear you've ever met, and I've taken a couple classes from him, so he's not any of the instructors aren't, overbearing or make you feel.
And that's one thing that I think we've done pretty well is finding those instructors that are not overbearing or G.I. Joe or whatever you want to call them, that are just too much.
Right, yeah. So, I took a class from Leroy, from Bill. I did Joe's class last night, and so all of them have been super great. And
awesome.
I'm all about asking questions in the classroom, too, and so no one's like, could you please stop asking questions? They're always like...
As an instructor, I like the questions. I prefer questions.
Well, and most of the time, it's questions that a lot of people want to ask, but they just don't have the confidence to do it. And so if you have the confidence to do that, you'll learn a lot more and make that experience a lot more enriching.
Sure, and that can happen exactly in a ladies' class. If it's co-ed and they feel like, oh, one of these guys are going to think I'm asking a dumb question, whereas in a ladies' class, you're probably exactly right. Oh, someone's going to ask this, so.
Well, I don't know. I've known a lot of guys to ask stupid questions.
Well, I feel like there's no dumb questions.
I usually ask the stupid question on purpose.
Yeah, I'm not afraid. I'll ask them.
So what is your favorite part of shooting and getting into handguns specifically?
Well, the whole purpose for me getting more knowledgeable on handguns was for my own self-protection. So, not to give too much information away, but I live by myself. So I wanted to be able to protect myself and my home,
For sure.
So that's kind of why I got into it. So really just being able to gain the confidence to handle a firearm proficiently, not just saying, oh, I'm going to take the enhanced concealed carry class and then stick it in the drawer, and if I need it one day, hopefully I know what I'm doing.
Right.
So it's building on the knowledge each week or each month on what I've learned. So I really enjoy coming back, learning something new every week, being with the ladies, because you're not only learning from your instructors, but also from the gals in your class with you, and then also the camaraderie. We've gotten to know a lot of the girls. We hang out outside of the club too, doing various activities.
That's awesome.
And so it was really camaraderie and learning, more education. So we're always talking about classes that we've taken, we're telling, oh, take this class and go take this class. And that was really the purpose of the Independent Woman starting up a year ago, was to encourage ladies to take classes. So you are learning every week, but then to add on to that education, that's been invaluable to me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, and then you're doing some volunteering too. Is that just today, or you volunteer kind of more often, or?
So I had a conversation with Joe, and I said, this is kind of where I'm thinking. I want to come RSO, and he's like, okay, come on in. And he kind of threw me out there. I was with Gio, and Gio was able to show me around, and Joe's really like, it's all about safety. You have to ensure that you are, doing the safety rules and things like that. And so, I wanted to volunteer and then eventually be an RSO. So I did take the RSO class with Joe, and I'm certified. Whoop, whoop.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think she's excited about that.
I am.
Hey,
I'm
man.
excited to be here all the time.
I love it.
Fun, huh?
I love it.
It is. So, so I've taken actually many classes here.
Yeah.
I did an intermediate. I did the AR class, AR build class. I can't stop. I'm a little addicted now.
So what did you learn, or maybe what surprised you in the RSO class? Because it's a different kind of angle. If you're shooting, you're obviously safety conscious and everything for yourself, but when it's an RSO, it kind of changes the name of the game a little bit.
Yeah.
In that you're responsible for everybody else's on the range safety. How did that kind of click in your mind?
Right. So it was I will admit, it was a bit intimidating.
For sure.
To be really essentially put in charge, and you being out there and be the authority figure. And so that's going to be a little bit of a growing period for me, is to be out there and be confident. And so, the first time I volunteered, actually, I saw someone commit an infraction, and I was like, oh, hey. So it was nice that I didn't hesitate when I saw something.
That's
and
cool.
I think, just getting some more confidence is going to help me, be more proficient at RSO. And
for sure. It's definitely, it's a learning curve, and it just takes some time. I remember when I first started, I was like, hey, could you maybe not do that? That'd be great. Now it's like, hey, all right, come on now.
Right. Yeah. And that's going to be the difference too. And something that I found that that when I was out there and I had my shirt on and I looked official and all that stuff, they weren't intimidated that I was a woman. They were just like, oh, hey, can you help me do this? And da-da-da. And I was like, oh, okay, I kind of look like I know what I'm doing. And then in my mind, I was like, I know what I'm doing. I know I can do this. I know what I'm doing. And, just having that confidence. So.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm really excited to see the industry lean that way, because for years it was a male-dominated industry, right? Absolutely. But probably within the last 10 years maybe, women have been getting really involved in the distribution side and the business side. There's a lot of lady range owners now, and not just gun bunnies. They're women that know and understand the industry. They know the guns, and it's somewhere that it needed to go anyways. And I'm really excited to see the ladies joining, the group, being involved, because they're going to be the next generation of instructors, and I think it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're super stoked. Like I said, all the gals in the class are loving it, love learning, so I'm very fortunate that I was able to get in again and be here again for this year,
awesome.
And I love it here.
We're excited to have you here. So.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, thank you for your time. We
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Yeah.
It was painless.
Painless.
We'll be back. All right, we're back with Range Minded at Independence Indoor Shooting, the live vendor expo edition right now. My name is Mark Long, and I'm with
Steve Zimmerman once again.
And we are joined by Leo from the USCCA. Say hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Pretty good.
You enjoying your time at the vendor expo so far?
Oh, absolutely. Any day at the range is a good day.
That is very, very true. So tell us a little bit about what you do with USCCA and what you're doing here today.
Well, I'm a training counselor with USCCA, and as such, I can certify other people to be certified instructors with USCCA in this area.
Awesome.
And how's it been?
Been good. It's basically what it used to be is to be certified with USCCA, you had to travel to West Bend, Wisconsin to get your certification, but now they have some of us training counselors across the country, and we can do it locally. Makes it a lot easier and a lot more cost effective for people.
So what does it kind of take to be a USCCA instructor?
Basically, it takes a person that's level-headed, safe, knows how to use a firearm. It's a different genre than marksmanship. We're talking about self-defense and situational awareness.
Right.
And somebody that wants to help other people, basically.
Cool. So it sounds like, Steve could even fit the bill.
Maybe.
To be an instructor.
I think we could stretch things to allow him to be in.
Yeah.
I have to bend some rules.
Give it a try.
How long have you been a counselor with USCCA?
Since 2015.
Okay.
I was certified originally in October of 2015. And then I got a call from Steve Fisher, who's the director of training, in October, the end of October, and had me come back to West Bend in December, and I was in the first training counselor class that they did.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Very cool.
That is cool.
So what do you like about being a training counselor?
I like guns.
That's a start.
I like helping people, and I like working with different personalities. It's really neat to see, and it's only a 2-day course, but still you can see a lot of difference in people's understanding from when they walk in the door to the point where they walk out with their certificate.
That's got to be cool to see.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that USCCA training, just overall training. What kind of training? Obviously, concealed carry training. How does that differ from marksmanship?
Well, basically, it teaches people what you're going to do in a real-life protection situation. You have somebody that breaks into your house, or you're downtown, and all of a sudden somebody starts shooting in the restaurant that you're at. It's completely different. You're not going to have the time to get your perfect stance, your perfect sight picture. It's going to be point and shoot.
Yeah.
And you got to make the right decisions in a split second, just like law enforcement does.
Sure.
And how to do that, and being aware of your surroundings at all times instead of going into what we call condition white, where you're looking at your cell phone and nothing else in the world exists.
Yeah,
right.
we've talked about that on the podcast before, and about
a few times, honestly.
and about situational awareness. Yeah, it's a really different ballgame than being static at the range and all that kind of stuff. So
it's a big difference putting holes in a piece of paper compared to a real life situation where, number one, the person is out there with a firearm that is trying to take you out.
Right.
And they're moving, and you're moving, and there's other people moving. So there's a lot of things that goes into it.
Yeah, a lot of dynamics.
Do you find that a lot of people are surprised at the kind of the shift in thinking from just static shooting to situations and strategic kind of thought processes like that?
I think so. It did used to be that you always wanted to get the smallest pattern on your target, to be able to, hey, look at me, look what I can do.
Yep.
But as there's been more situations that have occurred, it's becoming more and more relevant to, how can I do in a real life situation compared to being on the range with that paper target.
Yeah, right.
And there's so much that goes on in our bodies when we're under stress, in our mind. We lose the fine motor skills.
Right.
One thing that a lot of instructors will do is, particularly on an outdoor range, because indoor ranges are kind of limited with what you can do, but is taking the trigger hand and putting it in a bucket of ice water.
Oh, wow.
And then picking up the gun and trying to shoot and see what happens.
That's got to be tough.
And that's just a little bit of a simulation of what's going to happen in the real life.
Sure. Yeah, and I've found that even, in a class, I can, going from movement to movement just fine. Then somebody introduces a timer into the situation. And even just that timer introduces that little bit of stress. And like you said,
stress, yeah.
Just that little taste of what it could be. So.
I hate that beep.
Yeah, exactly. So if somebody wants to get involved and get started with some USCCA training, how can they get started with that?
Well, basically, they can contact me. Okay. And the two best ways is my cell phone, which is 208-340-5544, or my email at silverplate426@msn.com.
Cool.
Awesome.
Very cool.
I live here in Boise. I can travel some distances, but primarily I work in the Treasure Valley.
Awesome.
And just love educating people and bringing them to a knowledge of the real world.
Yeah, for sure. And then I see on the other side of your shirt, you got a patch that says Helping Hands Firearm Training.
Yes.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure. That's basically my little business that I have to do my USCCA work through.
Cool. Great.
And doing the legal thing with the state of Idaho and all that good stuff.
Right.
But one thing I've found out in doing this is it's really hard to run a profitable business part-time.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But I still love it, and it allows the money I get from this. Number one, enjoyment is what I'm really out for.
100%.
I'm not out to make $1 million or anything.
Right.
But the little bit of money I do get allows me to come to this range and spend some money, which is great.
Yeah, what more could you want? Yeah.
And I get to go to the Concealed Carry Expo once a year,
Nice.
So that's another good thing. But honestly, the reason I'm really in it to it is because I just like helping people, and I like this area in particular because there is so much disinformation out there about firearms and using firearms, and is it a toy, is it a tool, what is it?
Yeah. Right.
And when do you engage and when don't you engage?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's information that so I was in contact with Representative Nate when they brought the constitutional carry thing, which I'm for, but I'm concerned.
Right.
And that right there is the reason why is sometimes people don't understand when not to use a firearm, and that's what made me nervous.
I fully understand that it's our right to possess and carry and use a firearm, but I also believe that really needs to be under training. Yeah. Just like driving a car. You have to be trained to drive a car, to get a license to drive a car.
Sure.
Here you're using something that can cause damage to someone else, can change your life forever.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to be trained? all aspects of using that.
We preach that, I think, every episode about getting training and keeping your skills sharp and all that. That's the utmost importance. Buying the gun is only the start of the journey there. So
no doubt.
Yeah. So Leo, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, you bet.
We'll let everybody know how they can get a hold of you and
cool.
Get more people trained.
Heck yeah.
Thank you much. Have a great day.
Thank you. We'll be back. All right, we are back with Range Minded at Independence Indoor Shooting at the Vendor Expo. My name is Mark Long.
Steve Zimmerman's here, and we have another guest.
I'll let you intro him.
So this is Scott. Scott's our area rep for Vortex Optics.
Yes, good to be here.
It's good to have you here, man. So what do you got new that's so exciting?
So in the last, about the last 2 months, we've had several products come out. Here at Independence, just this last week, we launched the Spark AR with upgraded battery life along with the Crossfire AR. So we extended the battery life on those two optics up to 50,000 hours on a medium setting.
Wow. And that's a AAA, right? Or AA?
AAA on the Spark, and then a flat button cell 2032 on the Crossfire.
That's awesome. So that's amazing.
50,000. I'm trying to do the math on how many years that 50,000 hours is, but it's
several. So no issues on battery life with those.
Well, and that's one of the things is that you want to, with an optic, you want to be able to rely on it, and it's to leave it on the whole time. If something happens and you need to grab that firearm right then and there, you don't want to worry about futzing with whether it's going to turn on or off or whatever what setting it is. You just turn it on, leave it, and you can replace the batteries every couple of years or whatever.
Well, I have an expensive military grade optic that runs on a CR123, and that battery life is more like minutes. If I leave that battery in the optic, a week later I go to grab it, the battery's going to be dead. And
that's
it's frustrating because that's an expensive optic, and it should not be that way.
And so, along with that improvement, batteries on those are really pretty readily available.
That's what I like
AAA
about
battery,
the Vortex stuff.
and even that 2032 button cell battery is easy to find.
You can get them anywhere.
So,
I think it's awesome. In fact, I run a Spark AR on two of my builds that I may have lost
in a boating accident. It's the common theme of the podcast. Yeah.
Where is this boat and where was the accident?
I can't disclose that information.
Start to look for it.
Yeah.
I've had to learn how to scuba recently.
Well, and Vortex does more than just optics, or firearm optics. You have rangefinders and binoculars too, right?
So we've got rangefinders and binoculars. This past August, we launched the new Razor 4000 rangefinder, which 4,000 yards on a reflective target, 2,200 yards on a soft target.
Wow.
So it's an amazing unit. Readout feedback on that is quick, like super fast, and it's actually got three other extra modes on there to help you identify range to targets a lot more efficiently.
Cool.
That's amazing.
That is pretty cool. And then obviously we got to talk about the warranty, the Vortex warranty. I think that's one of the coolest things with Vortex. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So our VIP warranty covers anything and everything. So any issue that a customer might have with any of our optics, whether it's a rifle scope, binocular, rangefinder, red dots, we've got you covered. And it's super easy process. A customer, you don't even have to deal with a dealer. So you download the warranty form, send it right back to us. We service it, usually less than a week. Throw it back in the mail to you.
Yeah, and I've dealt with the folks in Wisconsin, and it's super professional, super nice. It's not like dealing with somebody you might think that's just going to treat you like dirt. No, you guys care.
But and the warranty is only one part of it. You got the quality optic. You certainly have that warranty, which is somewhat of an insurance policy. But one of the big things that we pride ourselves on is customer service. So even if a customer just has a question about an optic, or we've had guys even help customers identify ammo for hey, what do you think would be best to go on this hunt
awesome.
with? So our guys there at the office and even our dealers are awesome as well. That happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
Yeah, because the other cool thing is with Vortex, there's so many different applications, and I feel like you guys kind of almost purpose build your optics for hunting or for self-defense or for target shooting or whatever, which I think is pretty cool. So.
And there's a lot of crossover things too, and that's where
100%.
If a customer can't quite find that right niche, we've got some experience with what other guys have done that we can say, hey, this has worked for this guy. You might think about trying that, and sometimes they don't even think about a certain scope on a certain gun, and it seems to fit the bill.
Right on.
Awesome.
If you would say what was your bread and butter, like the most common optic, what do you think sells the most?
We've done really well, kind of in the tactical side of things, that Strike Eagle. in our 1-8 has been awesome on an AR platform. Super versatile. You can zoom it out to that 1 power to get super wide field of view, close quarters type things, and then for the coyote hunter out here in the west that wants to be able to zoom in or shoot some targets out a little bit further, 200 to 300 yards, that 8 power really shines.
Yeah, I've got that on one of my ARs, and I love it. It's, and being able to choose the illumination or no illumination on that reticle is super cool depending on how the light is, and being able to zoom in when you need to is great. So, and that true 1 power I really do enjoy. So,
I don't think people that don't spend a lot of time behind optics, they don't realize what that means or what that is. Maybe we can go talk about that real quick about true 1 power.
So true 1 power would be just like we're looking now. So where there's no magnification to amplify the target, so that you just get that more natural field of view.
Yeah, 'cause sometimes in certain optics, it still is distorted from what your eye really sees, and some people don't understand that or really get that. So
yeah, you might get that fisheye or something a little bit or whatever. But with the Vortex, at least that Strike Eagle, it's a true 1X, kind of like you're looking through just straight glass. So it's very cool. So
well, and it's clear. And it's clear.
It is very clear. So, well, Scott, thank you very much. We appreciate the time. Yeah, check out Vortex Optics if you haven't. They're great, phenomenal optics, and they'll be here at the expo, and we carry them here at Independence Indoor Shooting as well. So,
got a pretty good selection over there.
Great selection.
Great prices. So.
Yeah, so thank you, sir.
Thanks,
appreciate it. We'll be back. Welcome back. We are back with Range Minded at Independence Indoor Shooting. The Vendor Expo here still going strong. My name is Mark Long, and joined by
Steve Zimmerman once again.
And we have Carla.
With Trojan Firearms.
With Trojan Firearms. How are you, Carla?
I'm great. How are you?
She's excited to be with us.
She's ecstatic.
I am. We're having a blast here today.
Yeah, literally, because you have guns to demo today, huh?
I do. I have lots of new toys.
Yeah. Well, tell us some about some of the new toys.
So because we're Trojan Firearms, everything's named accordingly. We have the Helen, which is our flagship, and it's only 5 pounds 6 ounces. Has a gold bolt. It's all nice and flashy.
Awesome.
Retails at $18.50. We have 10% off today.
Oh, that's awesome. And I actually just shot that, and it shoots fantastic.
It's great. There's hardly no recoil.
No, it's amazing.
It's my favorite.
That's an awesome gun.
Yep. We also have the Wall, which is our mil-spec 5.56 NATO gun, and it retails at $14.99. It's on special for the rest of the year for $949.
Wow. The rest of the year?
Yes.
That's quite a deal.
From now till the end of December.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy birthday. Whatever it takes, right?
Yeah.
So because we're out of Nampa, we would love to get your customers to be able to have one of those guns.
Sure.
So under $1,000 is a great deal to be able
it's
to
a great price point for what
find
you're getting.
Trojan. Yep.
Yeah, very cool. So you're based locally?
We are.
Out of Nampa, huh?
We are.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
So, what made you guys want to start your own firearms company? How did that kind of start?
Well, they've been in business for about 6-7 years now, and we are expanding. So we need everybody out there to know who Trojan Firearms is. So we are moving into new states, and we go dealer direct. And so we've got more than 30 dealers right now, and we need Independence has just joined our dealer network.
Yeah, awesome.
And they will be offering all of our firearms and our components.
Oh, so you do parts and full rifles?
We do.
Okay, what kind of parts?
Our best sellers are our ambi charging handle. We have
Nice.
an ambi safety and our triggers. Our triggers are retail $162.95. They are a single stage drop-in, adjustable 3 to 6 pounds.
Yeah, adjustable.
And that was on the Helen that I shot.
Yes.
And that was one thing that I mentioned to him right off the bat. It's like, whose trigger is this? He's
It's
like,
ours.
That's our trigger. And I was like,
Absolutely.
that's awesome. I need one of those.
So we manufacture literally everything except for the buttstock and the grip.
Oh, okay, very cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and those ambi controls are getting more and more popular, and
Absolutely.
and standard, I would say, even on most rifles and handguns.
It should be standard.
It
So-
should be if it's not, but ours are.
Yeah.
We also have hot off the press coming out around December 1st. We have our brand new 308 and 6.5 Creedmoor, both on a small frame.
Yeah, and,
Awesome.
And you have those here. We took a
I
look
do
at them. That's
have
pretty
them
amazing.
to see. Yes,
Very cool. Well, it
and they're
sounds
all on a small frame,
very cool.
which is not normal.
Yeah, usually you got the larger receiver that's adds some weight, and your firearms are extremely light for what they are.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much for the time. Appreciate you coming by, and you got to check out Trojan Firearms if you haven't. You can come check them out here at Independence.
You guys have a social media presence?
We do. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Carla.
Thank you.
Range-Minded Podcast with Independence Indoor Shooting. Mark Long and Steve Zimmerman here. We just basically interviewed just about everybody we could.
Yeah, we didn't get to everybody, but there was quite a few vendors here, and if you didn't get a chance to come hang out and see what's going on, we're going to be trying to do these, I think, at least annually. I imagine that's what their hopes are.
Yeah, this is the second one of the year. We did one in the spring, so we'll be doing it again. A lot of specials going on, and just a good time. It's a great excuse to come see Independence and come meet us.
Yeah, and like we just talked to Carla with Trojan Firearms, and honestly, that was a manufacturer I had no idea was in town.
Yeah, another local manufacturer.
And we'll be having those firearms here to sell. We're going to be a dealer, so it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, if you heard anything from us today or from the previous episode and you want to get to know more about it or get in contact with some of the people that we talked to, let us know. Email us, podcast@iishooting.com, or email us, or find us on Facebook, rather, at Range Minded Podcast. Same thing on Instagram as well, and we'll connect you.
Heck yeah.
So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Range Minded. Find us online at Range Minded Podcast on Facebook, or send us an email at podcast@iishooting.com. We're always happy to get feedback, episode suggestions, whatever you want to send us, really. And be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and pretty much wherever else you get your podcasts from. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.